going on, guys? Welcome to the inaugural edition, the debut of Juice Pro Wrestling. This is a podcast all about a sport I loved since I was 5 years old, and my name is El Hugo Libre, a.k.a. Justin the Juice Wallace, vocalist for Handsome Prick. And with me tonight is Butchman Lee, a.k.a. Dick Butchko Presents. And with me, as always, is the Jerry Heller of podcasting, the master blaster himself. Sweatin' Savage, baby, yeah!
Do I do it?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I can't. Ooh, yeah!
Dig it. Oh, man. I love it. Yeah, so, anyways, fuck the bullshit. We're just going to get right into the mix. Pro Wrestling Podcast. Let's dive deep into the depths of what's going on right now. First of all, you guys, I don't know if you're aware, a couple weeks out of Wrestlemania. Yes. You guys excited about that?
Not if there's an American badass.
Oh, yeah. John Cena. Sren, what do you think about John Cena?
I've never seen him. That's a thing, right?
He's
Never heard
jokes.
of her.
Thing.
Yeah, they're teasing John Cena versus The Undertaker. But there's a Twitter poll out where you can either be voting for the Dead Man Undertaker or the American Badass White Trash Undertaker.
And that's got to be a rigged poll with the results right now.
Yeah. Kid Rock's going in the WWE Hall of Fame. And it gets pretty nasty for those of you who just want to see the Undertaker as himself, the dead zombie guy that you've...
What'd you guys think of his finale match from last WrestleMania? Were you into it, or was it a little rough? That was so I'm the guy, you guys are deep into it.
Yes, sir.
So you'll get into
Knee-deep.
every single aspect of pro wrestling.
Yes.
On every level.
Yeah. Touching him.
I watched WrestleMania last year. That was my first WrestleMania that I've seen in maybe 15 years.
Were you
10
bored
years.
or entertained?
During the Undertaker match? Yeah, it was rough. The beginning was so exciting, and then like the last 25, 30 minutes, I couldn't, like with a lot of those matches, I can't tell if these guys are like legitimately injured, if they're just televising somebody slowly dying.
I think they're legitimately old at that point.
Well,
Sorry,
I think there's no relevancy for the Undertaker at WrestleMania, anyways, because once
he's
you
been beaten twice.
you ended the
beaten
streak.
Twice.
Brock, I could see beating you, but Roman Reigns, come on,
no one likes him. He's the next John Cena.
He had beaten some of the greatest wrestlers of all time at WrestleMania, and then you're gonna tell me Roman Reigns just because he's The Rock's cousin?
Yeah,
all of a sudden he can beat the dead man.
Speaking of that,
He's The Rock's cousin.
Yeah. I seen him WrestleMania 8 at the Hoosier Dome. Jake the Snake Roberts.
I saw him WrestleMania 13 versus Psycho Sid.
Yeah, in Chicago.
Yes,
there
sir.
you go. Undertaker. So anyways, long story short on that, WWE, no. If you're trying to bring back the American Badass, I don't care what the public says. They're retarded.
They're trying to make America great again.
Yeah, make America suck it. Anyways, next up, Shinsuke Nakamura versus AJ Styles.
Love it.
For the WWE title. Great rematch from Wrestle Kingdom 10 a couple years ago, New Japan Pro Wrestling. Dream match, to say the least. Both men, you got the king of strong style, Shinsuke
Versus
Nakamura.
the phenomenal one.
The phenomenal one. I'm a big fan of AJ Styles. It's well documented. The Juice likes him some AJ.
Not a fan of his hairdo in the couple.
Oh, soccer mom, I like it.
But
Soccer mom
I
and a
hate
beard.
that WWE has made him basically tone down his arsenal of moves.
Well, yeah, but he's older too, so it's kind of like he's probably, he's not going to be doing those spiral taps and
True.
unless he has to, some big moment.
It's all about that payday.
It's all about that WrestleMania moment.
Why'd they make him tone down his moves?
They just that's what happens when you sign with WWE.
They have like a list of banned moves.
Yeah, and words and shit you can't say. It's corporate, dude. Corporate as hell.
Ever since they went public, like they went PG.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you used to be able to watch Raw and you might see tits.
I like tats.
I mean, come on, like that's what the late '90s were all about. The Monday Night Wars. It was pushing the limits.
It was Jerry Springer TV.
So by what you're saying, what I understand is some of these special moves probably involved his butthole, balls, or dick, and that's what caused him to be banned. It wasn't like something that was overly athletic or like super.
There's just like you can't do the chair shots to the head anymore.
Joey Ryan has an athletic dick.
Just
We'll
anything
throw
that basically will, if you really did it, would cause some serious harm.
Okay.
And since they went public, kids are all of a sudden now kids are watching because you went public.
Down. Yeah, long story short, they're corporate as hell. They're toned down.
Yeah.
They tone down guys' movesets. But a lot of it too is because injuries. A lot of that shit happens. A lot of those dudes on the indie circuit, they go hard. They have strong matches.
But now they're allowing Seth Rollins to do
Seth Rollins.
Yeah, Seth Rollins. To do the what the hell is it called? Where he stomps their head.
Oh, the curb stomp.
Yeah.
I didn't think they'd do it. Let him do it because it's kind of like, isn't that like a racial thing? Like,
well, if you've watched American History X.
Yeah, well,
I think just in that movie. I have no idea.
Yeah. Sweating. So yeah, but anyways, AJ versus Shinsuke. It's gonna be good. It's for the WWE title, man. It's cool of them to put those guys in that picture, main eventing WrestleMania, because they're athletic as hell, and they're that's what the new generation of wrestlers is all about. You guys got to be entertaining, even though that's few and far between. But you got to be athletic, man. And a lot of these guys are doing unbelievable shit. Unbelievable.
Yeah. If possibly if WCW would have focused on the cruiserweight division more back in the day, maybe they would have stayed around longer. Because people got tired of it was just
Hollywood,
NWO every week. Just they're taking over.
It was bad booking.
Yeah,
bad booking. Bad booking.
You had Kevin Nash killing it.
I love that era.
I do too. Man, but
it was the greatest era of wrestling. Minus the early '90s, the golden age. But
we'll get into that.
It revived wrestling. I hated Goldberg, but the whole Goldberg Austin,
See, now this is the way. I just want to let people know right now. Our podcast. It's the basis of it is to be live, uncensored, uncut. So I'm very ADD. You're gonna get a lot of stuff coming at you at once. If you don't like it, fuck off.
Yeah, Goldberg sucks.
Anyways, I got 2 words for you. 3 words for you. Wet 'em up. Wet 'em up.
All right, so
back to WrestleMania.
Yeah, WrestleMania.
You have Charlotte Flair versus Asuka, which I'm not gonna sound all chauvinist or whatever. I'm not. Yeah, I don't really care. They need Asuka's undefeated. They're gonna give her the title.
I think Charlotte's living off her dad's name at this point. There's definitely females more talented. Toni Storm. I don't know if you follow Toni Storm.
Who the fuck is Toni Storm?
She's a badass. Over in Japan, she's got 5 titles.
Really?
Yeah. But they're claiming Charlotte's the greatest just because her dad possibly was. But
is Charlotte a good showman?
I mean, she's got the entertainment down, but I saw, what? I saw naked pictures of her and I was put off.
That was a mismatch.
A match made in hell. Anyway, sorry, Charlotte. I just
we don't love that was more lopsided than a Shawn Michaels Hulk Hogan match,
or Shawn Michaels' Wandering Eye,
or Hogan's Wandering Hairline.
Wonder where it went, brother.
Wondering where his talent.
So back on track here. WrestleMania 34, the match that everybody does not want to see again. Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. And, if you follow wrestling, you're listening to this and you're a diehard wrestling freak like we are, you got to know this. You've seen this coming for over a year. And it's just something that no one wants to see. Roman Reigns is the next John Cena, because John Cena is a guy I felt only got popular because the money machine was behind him and just pumping and forcing you to... Some people
kind of like they did with Hogan in the 90s.
Well, no, but Hogan was the shit. Come on.
Yeah, because his skills were so amazing.
Yeah, it's not about skills.
He had charisma.
Yeah, that's what it's about. It's some guys got the total package, some guys don't. Whatever.
And we also it's total package.
Lex Luger. I got a total package in my pants.
So, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar. Tired of Roman Reigns being pushed down the throat. I mean,
he's like a big dick being shoved down you during fellatio. No one wants to swallow after that.
But no, that's the problem with WWE because they have no competition right now, no real competition.
They do.
As far as
it's coming, and that's another
right now
segue.
It's not impacting their money. So once Vince in 2001 bought all of his competition, bought ECW, bought WCW. ever since then, it's been basically, I'm going to put out whatever I think's entertaining, and you're going to deal with it. And
yeah. I mean, if you're a billionaire and, the guy pretty much invented pay-per-view. He's made... He knows what he's doing. Hell, we could do a Versus podcast, get back on with the football guys here at the Green Door Network. Your friends at the Green Door Network, come see us downtown Hobart, buy some books.
Or if you're not from Hobart.
Well, yeah.
So does Vince McMahon, does WWE have any competition coming? Is there something growing?
Yeah,
is the indie circuit as a whole strong enough? Here's
the thing, and that's a great segue. We're going to, like I said, ADD podcast. We're getting off the WrestleMania 34 card because it's nothing to run home about. You guys will see it. You'll enjoy it. You can tell me about it later. You can email me at jpdubpodcast@gmail.com and tell me whether or not you give a fuck.
So you're not excited about the return of the American Badass?
No, not at all. But anyways, getting to the indie thing, where I think it's social media and the amount of territories that are popping up now has it's definitely impacted attendances and stuff for WWE, which is a good thing. And there's all these other little promotions and areas. I mean, you have AAW in Chicago, who are huge, and they bring in all the top indie talent. Like, you literally see these guys at Logan Square Auditorium or something, and then they're on Monday Night Raw, or they're in NXT, and they bring in or Impact Wrestling, Ring of Honor. It goes on and on. They bring in the top talent. They even bring in, like, Jushin Thunder Liger's going to be there.
Right.
So
is Tennille Dashwood, a.k.a. Emma.
Emma, yeah.
Are those are these organizations, are they traveling organizations, or are they there's one for the Midwest, there's one for the East Coast?
That's what it is. It's territories returning.
Going from west to east, like, name some.
From west, you have Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. You have Joey Ryan, the King of Dong style. I think it's Bar Wrestling. Out in California, Lucha Underground is, which is a big...
They're doing a pay-per-view where it's going to be Lucha Underground versus Impact.
Well, yeah, that'll be a nice, on Twitch. I think it's the 25th. Or no, is it WrestleCon? I can't remember when it is. You guys can go online and look at that shit. But it's Impact versus Lucha Underground. In my opinion, very big stuff going on. But yeah, getting back to the indie thing, that's WWE has a roster now that is basically built up of top independent talent. And, I mean, the best of the best. You have Prince Puma, Ricochet from Lucha Underground is there now. In New Japan, the guy is amazing. You just watch his matches with a guy named Will Ospreay, a British guy. Just so athletic, so fluid, so, like, everything you'd want to see in pro wrestling nowadays, because everybody's tired of the same old shit. There's got to be some sort of evolution. And a lot of that is going on in the indie circuits with these territories. And I think the biggest evidence of that is a group called the Bullet Club. They're basically the NWO of Japan. They're starting in Japan with Finn Balor, who's now a WWE guy. And a bunch of other guys come and went. AJ Styles was a leader at one point. And after him, Kenny Omega takes over. And he's the new current leader of the Bullet Club, feuding with a guy whom a lot of you might know as Stardust, Cody Rhodes, who I'm actually growing quite fond of. Long story short, these guys, Being the Elite is their YouTube show. Everybody that's listening right now, I'm sure if you haven't heard of them, check them out. It's great. It's great entertainment for those of us that grew up in, like, the Attitude Era and not even that. Just want to have fun watching wrestling because WWE is so manufactured that there's, I feel if you watch WWE, you only get any real emotion out of that shit from nostalgia. Meaning last year, Goldberg coming back, crushing everybody, crushing Brock in 30 seconds or whatever the hell it was, like that's what WWE offers now. But on the independent circuit, dude, you get the stories on Being the Elite and stuff. They're kooky. It's crazy. It's like a dude's pouring piss down another guy's throat, and Joey Ryan's signing another guy's dicks. Doing dick flips. But it's off the wall. It's wild shit. And
dick flips.
Dick flips. Yeah.
What's a dick flip?
A dick flip. Well, actually, it's I think it's the YouPorn plex. Is what Joey Ryan. He's a wrestler based out of California.
Endorsed by YouPorn.
Yeah, he's endorsed by YouPorn. I always liked him because he reminds me of a sleazy ass modern day ravishing Rick Rude.
He's an 80s porn star.
Huge fucking Rick Rude fan. He reminds me of that. Long story short, I think it was about a little over a year ago now. He came up with this move. It became a YouTube sensation. You know, it blew him up, even though he's already getting there with Lucha Underground stuff. But basically, a man and or woman competitor grabs his junk, and he flexes, and it's supposed to be his junk, you know, like applying pressure and hurting their hand, and then he flips, and they flip with it.
Yeah, it's
you know, that's the spot. And it is, but it's awesome, and that's why I'm saying. But you know, but he's a guy who can go in the ring. But that's entertaining as hell, you know, and it's just like, it's not some manufactured, there's still storytelling to it, but like WWE storytelling where it's just constant recycled garbage.
Well, proof that the other organizations are mattering now is, you know, recently, what was it, in January? Chris Jericho versus Omega.
Well, Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
I'll put it to you this way. Hot Topic sells Bullet Club merch.
They have a
New
shit
Japan
ton of
merch. That's the #1 selling T-shirt in their store, and they sell WWE shit.
And they just opened 1 Hour Tees in Chicago, which is a huge portion of what they sell.
Everybody
and they have wrestlers there every month
that has a name is at Pro Wrestling Tees and has a shirt. Even big guys, Stone Cold Steve Austin. You know, I think Mick Foley's back with them. You know,
I got my Jake the Snake shirt.
There you
from
go.
them.
Right, you want to throw a plug real quick?
Yes, March 25th here in Hobart, Indiana at the Art Theater. It's the Anti-Variety Show, and there will be a comedy show hosted by Jake the Snake Roberts, and I believe tickets are only $20 at the door.
With a meet and greet.
Yes, and all tickets include a meet and greet. Photos and autographs will be additional, but I'm guessing those will probably range from $20 to $30 a piece.
Yeah, bring your DDP yoga DVDs and get them signed by Jake the Snake.
Maybe Scott Hall will show up too.
Remember Black Machismo? He's like, "Where's the snake? Where's the snake?"
Yeah, where's the snake man?
I'll tell you what, it was ADD again popping up. When Jake the Snake was always awesome, but when he had that fucking Cobra, it was like, dude, he was already like such a sadistic character, you know? Like, he didn't have to yell at you in his promos to like kind of get his point and like strike fear in his opponent. It was all
about his psychology.
Yeah, it was great, you know. But when he got that Cobra, it's just like, man, this dude is like, he's like a devil worshiper. So when I was a little kid, I was like, this dude's evil. I mean, he was handling that big ass Cobra, and then it bit the Macho Man, dude. I shit my pants as a kid.
Well, the thing is,
I was like, what the fuck is going on?
The thing is, Jake the Snake always has been and still is to this day afraid of snakes.
Yeah, yeah.
And when he was going to do the spot with the Macho Man about the snake biting his bicep,
the snake?
Randy was totally against it backstage, and he had told Jake, he's like, well, you never know if somebody's out to get you. So, I don't know, man. Why don't you let the snake bite you first? So Jake's like, no. And he's adamant, no, I'm not doing it, man. If you're okay after it, then I know you're not out to get me. And so, Jake, he's like, all right, whatever. I got to fucking get my paycheck. So he lets Snake bite him.
He's got to get more booze at that time of cocaine.
Well, he said by that point, then like, Randy's like, oh, it's okay then, you're all right.
Professional. Randy Savage is straight professional.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
One of the greatest of all time.
Paranoid, but professional. And so, he did the spot in the ring, Snake's biting his bicep, and, he said at that point, like, he can't get the snake off. And he's like, he's tugging on it, and Vince had sent Elizabeth and I forget who else out there, and they're like, get the snake off him.
Where's Elizabeth?
Well, Macho originally wanted him to bring the snake
out of his pants?
back to
the trouser snake.
No, he wanted the snake to bite him twice. But after Jake couldn't get the snake off him and finally did, he went back to have it bite him again, and Randy's like, get that fucking snake away from me. So that's the story behind the snake.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Jake can confirm it March 25th at the Art Theater here in Hobart, Indiana.
Yeah, come see Jake the Snake Roberts. Going back to the whole new era, and I want to say for me as a wrestling fan, it's really cool because I'm 35 years old. I've been watching wrestling since I can remember, probably since I was 5. And to go through that era, which people consider now the golden era, you know, the Hulk Hogan.
It was.
Every character-wise, yes. I mean, you had Randy Savage, Hulk Hogan, even like mid-card guys like Paul Orndorff. Like, people remember
The
Mr.
honky-tonk
Wonderful.
man.
Yeah, I'm just a honky-tonk man. I'm cool. I'm cocky. I'm bad. Watch out! But, you know, to go through that era and then to experience what we got in the 90s with the whole WCW,
Monday Night Wars.
WWF, ECW, you know, it was great. And then it got really stagnant.
Yeah.
When, you know, WWE bought WCW.
Vince bought all the
I
competition.
remember that like it's yesterday. And as a wrestling fan, I still feel like I'm still shocked that happened. Because WCW was bad before, you know, they were a contender. They were really bad. They had poor booking. It wasn't great. There was nothing but jobbers. Then you know, the whole thing happens with NWO. That blows up, and they got bad again after that. You know, that was
everybody joined the NWO.
Well,
it was just basically it was no longer WCW.
But
NWO
my whole point
versus
on that though is that it was still around,
DDP.
And the only reason it wasn't around anymore is because of a corporate merger. Which brings me into WWE buying it and WWE monopolizing the pro wrestling circuit, and
right.
You know, now it's this huge corporate entity.
Actually, ECW outlasted WCW. Granted, it was only by a few days, but WCW sold before ECW did.
Well, all I got to say about it was a sad day for wrestling, and you know, and even still at that time, territories were pretty much dead. It was all NWA, you know,
but that's
Mid-South
changing.
And it's coming back.
Yes.
You know, you have a lot. I can name you right now of really quality promotions that I've seen, and not to get into every little Midwestern, but I like AAW. I love Ring of Honor. New Japan it's the number 2 promotion right now in pro wrestling. Impact is climbing back up there. Lucha Underground is good. You got Tommy Dreamer's House of Hardcore, which they air on Twitch. You can find a lot of your wrestling shows on Twitch. It's mainly like a video game platform. You familiar with that, Sren?
Sure am.
Oh, yeah. Impact's on there, Ring of Honor, pay-per-views, all kinds of shit, man. But, you know, those are a lot of the promotions that I pay attention to. And I get a little stuff here and there because, to me, to show you how big independent wrestling has just made wrestling in general, besides the WWE, there's so much content out there that I can't, you know, that's why this podcast, it's not going to be every, you know, I'm going to review a Raw every week or a SmackDown or any of that shit. It's going to be what's on my mind, what I like out of what I see. And you guys can follow me on Twitter at JPDUB Podcast. And I do lots of retweets, a lot of to keep people up to date on what's going on, you know, in various promotions like Ring of Honor, TNA, Impact, WWE, you know, New Japan, all that stuff. And even other podcasts. Anybody who has anything interesting or badass or even, how would you say, disgusting to say about the sport of professional wrestling, I want to hear about it, and I want other people to hear about it.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, the independent stuff, everybody, like WCW's on TV.
Yeah.
Easy to watch.
Yeah.
Like, it's on certain channels.
Yeah.
The big,
but it's too family
the main
friendly.
events are, but the main events are pay-per-view usually. Yeah. Almost always. The independent stuff, what's the video production like? Do you have to mostly go to the live events?
No,
or do they have like full camera crews?
There's
with
good
everything
stuff,
that you'd see, just maybe not as...
Yeah. Not as lit up, not as, you know, LED as that's how I separate them now. You know, you still have like Ring of Honor, who is still an indie promotion. They have quality, they have HD cameras and stuff, but it's not like there's no over the top LED lighting like WWE has. The whole side of the fucking ring apron now is LED that moves, and the ring post is all, you know, that's probably millions of dollars worth, thousands of dollars worth of shit, you know. It's not like that. It's just kind of more in the pure form of presentation, but video wise, like you're saying, and audio wise, yes, it's great quality, and there's a lot of it. Well, there's a lot of ways. You can go to, I know Ring of Honor has a network right now similar to WWE Network where you can access their whole history of pay-per-views and TV shows. It's called the Honor Club, and you get hit that up at ringofhonor.com or download. I don't know if there's an app, so I can't say that, but I know the Global Wrestling Network. Fight app is another way. You can watch all kinds of wrestling. That's what I'm saying. That's why wrestling is so huge, but it's not. You know, back in the day when we were kids and you're watching like Hogan and them and Stone Cold and The Rock going on Jay Leno, they're still, you know, John Cena and them guys still do that. But it seemed to have a little more mainstream focus. But now it's just kind of like, it is like that still, but it's kind of just everybody's used to it.
Well,
it's more in, you know, like everybody's used to seeing like, oh, well, it's wrestling, but there's a greater acceptance again of like kids that made it popular in the 90s of like, what is the demographic? I'd say like 18 to, you know, like middle-aged males, like in college guys.
Who were
like,
watching Gorgeous George. And,
yeah,
you know,
and now they're coming
Bruno
back
Sammartino.
because the quality of wrestling you see at these independent shows where these guys are doing, they're doing the strong style, you know, whether it's Lucha Libre from Mexico or a Japanese strong style. It's very hard-hitting. It's very believable. And one thing I'm very against that, I'm going to tell all you wrestlers out there right now, you're going to love me or hate me for it, but I hate the fucking leg slap. I fucking hate it, you know? That, to make it, you know, it's so obvious. I do not, if you guys do ever remember as a kid watching wrestling.
But my son loves doing the super kick party.
Oh, yeah, I love the super kick party too. You know, don't get me wrong, but everybody does the leg slap. And it's just, it's so unbelievable, you know? I mean, it's, back in the day, like Bret Hart said it best. You know, he was a guy who wrestled that, I believe, and I don't think he's like the best ever. I think he's one of the best. You know, he was a good draw. He was a great technical wrestler, but he was very believable. If you heard him kicking or punching or slapping someone, that was the real thing. It wasn't you doing a kick and slapping your fucking leg. And I'm not saying that's wrong. You know, good, add the effect, but it's so fucking obvious now. And I'm just being anal about that, but it's come on. You guys need to get over the leg slaps.
Well, with you know, the saying how, you know, the wrestlers would go on Leno back in the day and everything. Well, it's kind of made a comeback now because ESPN actually covers WWE events now.
Yeah.
And you know, I was searching something earlier, and what I had searched came up on CBSSports.com, where back in the day, you know, stations like CBS weren't going to cover WWE, you know, related material.
Not mainstream like that. They you had like, what was it? NBC, I think back in the day was the ones that did the
Saturday night's main event.
Saturday night main event. You know, that was back when they had Dick Ebersol or Emersol, however you say his name.
Dick Ember?
Yeah. Yeah. The guy was in bed with McMahon for the XFL during the first run, you know? Man. They had stuff like that. And the WWE also, back in the day, you know what else they had?
Quality matches.
Quality matches. There's a lot of good stuff going on nowadays, like wrestling-wise, but you got to look in NXT. And the main thing that's killing, I think, in SmackDown and Raw is its repetitiveness. You know,
yeah. How many times have we seen Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn?
You know, or Randy Orton versus anybody. That's,
yeah,
you know,
yeah. He's definitely overrated, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, Randy's good. He's a good worker. It took me a while to warm up to him.
He's definitely better than his dad, who just relied on the cast his whole career.
Yeah. You know who else is really annoying? Well, it used to be really annoying to me that I really enjoy now is The Miz. And I think he's one of the biggest heels going around. I used to hate that guy. And now I think that he's done such a good job of making me hate him. And that's a sign of a good worker, dude.
See, I think Dolph Ziggler could be a really good heel.
He could, but
like that's kind of the direction he's been going.
That's going to take another 10 years for me personally to warm up to him because he's Dolph Ziggler.
Michaels.
We've seen it. He's Shawn Michaels, you know. Like, it's just... He's stuck. He's stuck in that bubble where he's not going to be a superstar. Was he a world champion? Yes. Was he a superstar? Fuck no.
I met him.
Yeah. Did he zigzag you?
In Hammond.
Orange? Zigzag orange you?
No, he took a picture of me and then zigzagged to the locker room.
Yeah, he probably did. It's like, fuck this kid. Fuck Butch Manley. Yeah. You
know? So some other WrestleMania matches. We got possibly Randy Orton in a triple threat.
Yeah, I don't care about that either.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
Is there something in the WrestleManias every year that you expect to see that you get excited about? Or is
some
it like
celebrity that isn't relevant to the sport?
Ronda Rousey. Yeah, I don't care. She does not arouse me. Ronda Rousey. You need to get the fuck away from around me.
She's from the Goonies.
That was poetry.
It's beautiful.
Thank you, Shred.
Beautiful.
Shred the Savage!
Okay, so one thing I wanted to cover in our first episode here was the time that we met the Lonely Virgil.
Oh yeah, Lonely Virgil. Stratton, you know who Virgil is, don't you?
He was the $1 million man's
lonely?
bitch.
He was
When
he
did
was
he
$1
become
million
lonely?
man's. Let's not be
remember.
politically correct. He was a slave manservant.
I'm
Mandingo.
an avid attendee of Comic-Cons.
Yeah,
And
he's a dork.
every year you'll see Virgil with a booth there with nobody in line to meet him. And there's actually a website called thelonelyvirgil.com. Pictures of him at conventions at his booth by himself. Because he, for some reason, just shows up to conventions, not booked to be there, and just sets up a booth.
Yeah,
Really?
this is
Yes.
legit. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Sam Roberts' podcast did a thing where they followed him around. He got pissed.
Yeah, and like it was the person that had made the website, and he didn't realize it. And the whole time he's like, "Oh, their website's it's fake. They're taking those pictures before the convention started." Like, no, just nobody wants to meet you.
But we met him.
Yeah,
and
we
you
spent
know
4
what?
hours with
we were
him.
glad that he was not so lonely, Virgil, when he met fucking Butch Manley and the Juice. Let me tell you.
Yeah, he told us dirt on everybody. He told us
Andre the
Giant's dick was as big as the wrestling ring post.
His story was he said he would go back in the locker rooms and Andre would be in there and he'd have like 2 or 3 women.
No, hotel room.
Hotel room.
Not locker room. Yeah.
Oh yeah, like whatever, living room. Who
Yeah.
cares? Play pussy get fucked. Anyways,
Olive Garden and that fuck money.
oh, Olive Garden, yeah, man, that fuck
He's
money.
obsessed with Olive Garden.
So anyways,
Virgil.
Oh,
He
would,
constantly posts about it on social media. Like his dream is to one day own a Olive Garden and be in his backyard.
I think he started like a GoFundMe or something.
to buy an Olive Garden.
But anyways, back to the story. Virgil's talking about Andre's in there with a couple women in that hotel room, like 2 or 3, something like that, and he's like, "Man, boss," he's like, "what are you gonna do with all them women?" He's like, "Man, that woman can't handle that meat."
Yeah.
He proceeded to
well
tell us how
endowed.
big Andre's dick and Dave Bautista's dick was, and he said that Daniel Bryan ain't shit to Dave Bautista's dick.
Yeah. Then he proceeded to not let us leave him for the next 4 hours. It was a
lot of stories.
It was a wrestling match at a bowling alley. He showed up.
I got to help Scott Steiner with a chair.
I got to piss next to Bob Holly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How big was
So,
his dick?
I wasn't
So
trying
is
to
there-
a spark plug.
from your multiple decades combined wrestling experience,
Knowledge?
fandom, meeting all these guys, please tell me that there's some kind of gossip that doesn't involve dudes' dick sizes.
No.
No.
God.
Here's the thing, you guys. If you don't like dick and fart jokes, then you're not a funny human being, because those are the best type of jokes. If you don't believe me, go on YouTube. There's a video where a guy's listing off every name of this fart, and it's like 12 minutes worth of fart noises.
All right.
It like George Push. Come on, it's good stuff.
All right. So, we had our encounter with Virgil. He asked me how to get to the highway, and
The Hershey Highway.
so I tell him, it's not far from there.
He said,
And-
remember, he said,
and he tells
"I have
me that he's
bitches
got
from-"
pussy in Cleveland and in Chicago. And so I asked him, before we were leaving, he came up to me and I was like, "So you going to Cleveland or Chicago?" He's like, "I don't know. I'm just gonna put my hands back and let my dick decide."
Yeah, those are vintage.
Yeah. And then he hugged me and he got on the highway.
Listen, I'm going to tell you, people. I was there. That is no exaggeration. Those are the exact words of Virgil. Virgil, if you hear this podcast and you deny it, you just a lying motherfucker.
Other memorable experiences.
At that
That's a
same
good
time,
quote.
Sabu,
Same show.
same show. My son has this old Jack's Pacific toy ECW replica belt. And, Sabu's there. We're all down. The suicidal, homicidal, genocidal. It's fucking Sabu, We go up. I go to get his belt signed, and he's totally out of it, Like, I don't know if he's high or what. But he kind of smelling like weed, Which I'm not hating on that, Well, he looks at me and he's like, give me a belt. It's not for free. And I was like, okay, thanks, Sabu. You're awesome. And then he proceeds to ask me after that. He's like, you got a joint? You got any painkillers? And I'm like, no, dude, I wish I did, though, because you're fucking Sabu,
Yeah.
And so I was like, no, I ain't got anything on me, but I had some edibles, and people at the time were giving me like muscle relaxers and stuff I didn't really take. I just collected nonetheless, So long story short, I had a pill bottle of stuff, and I had my old lady pick it up on the way to the match and gave it to Sabu, one of my childhood heroes, and then he proceeds to get this stuff. And meanwhile, while he's waiting on me, he's going outside and smoking joints, and I'm pissed off because I'm like, man, it's
not smoking with Sabu. He's smoking my weed, not smoking with me.
Yeah. So I gave him some edibles and stuff, and he, who knows what he did. But I remember it was surreal for me going to the locker room in the bowling alley at Inman's.
Yeah.
And opening the door, and this is how it was. And I shit you not, it's like some shitty stoner movie. But I opened this door, and in this door is Scott Steiner fucking doing the, the arm curl things, just like all huge and swole. Then there's Bob Holly, and then I see Sabu sitting at the table. I'm like, yo, Sabu. It's just so weird.
Elephant boy.
Yeah. He comes to the door, and I just, I give him this pill bottle, and he's like, great, man, what I owe you. And you know what I did? You know what the fucking juice did?
I know what you did. I was there.
Give him a kiss.
I said, no. I said,
your wrestling career.
Your career was enough. And I gave it to him. And thinking back, I'm like, what a dumbass. I should have got some free shirts or some shit,
So wait, proceed to about an hour later.
An hour later, I go up to, and he's just sitting there because I was expecting to see him wrestle. He don't fucking wrestle.
He just threw a chair at somebody.
He threw a chair at somebody. He was half-assed doing that because he was high as shit.
Because of you.
Yeah, well, no, he was high before me.
Well, yeah.
I just gave him an edible. I didn't give him anything he could smoke on.
He signed a DVD for me and just like smeared his name across it.
Yeah, I
gave it
DVD.
to you. Yeah,
I have it still. There's some good matches on that. Yeah, but so time about an hour or so goes by. We're watching the matches or whatever. I go back up to Sabu, and he's like, now, mind you, I just did all this shit. I just told you that fucking story. And then he looks at me, and he's like, hey, man, you got any weed? You got any painkillers? And I'm like, man, I just gave you everything I had, dude. And
he's like, I've never seen you before in my life.
He forgot. And then he's like, let me sign that DVD for you.
And it was like, you couldn't even read the name. Like, he was so fucked up. He didn't need any
But it's cool. And hey, Sabu, if you ever hear this, it's no knock and much love because, you put that much. That's why I say this is for your body, man. You that much damage to your body, you're going to be hooked into some drugs and doing some shit.
Well,
who am I to judge? Do your thing.
That same show, elaborate on Scott Steiner now.
Oh, Scott Steiner. He lost a match to some indie guy, and the ref supposedly screwed him in his eyes. And Scott comes up, and I'm like, he's walking out the ring, and I'm just like huge, NWO Scott Steiner fan. Fucking, who got the best body? And he walks past, and I'm like, shit, man. I'm like, he's acting like he's gonna beat up on this ref. He's like holding him by the shirt, and he's like talking shit. And I'm like, man, dude, I got the steel chair right next to me. And he throws this ref on the table, and I go, hey, Scotty. He's like, give me that chair. I fucking throw him the chair, and he fucking pounds this ref. But it was great. And there's video of it. It's on my YouTube page, at the Juicifuge on YouTube, my personal page. You can find that. It was a great time, like a fan growing up, like, that's the big bad booty daddy, dude. And I just gave him a chair to whack this ref, Had a lot of good times going to see pro wrestling events. I remember they used to do them out in Valparaiso. Actually, it used to have a lot of WWE used to do a lot of stuff out there. And
Where?
Yeah, the university out there at the
Really?
college. Yeah, I mean, even back when I was a kid, I remember seeing who was it? Ultimate Warrior versus Undertaker in a body bag match. Like, I remember stuff like that was local. That was like big time superstars to see back then. And I think they stopped doing that around what? Because you were out there in Butchman Lee in what, 2006?
Let me see. Last year they did the Hammond Civic Center again, which they hadn't done in about a decade. But between then and Valpo, it was probably 3 or 4 years since they had done a show in Northwest Indiana. So, but yeah, the show in Hammond was good. I took my 2 nephews and my son. We're waiting outside, and wrestlers are showing up, and that's my thing. I always want to meet the wrestlers.
Was that, what are you talking about, in Hammond recently?
Yeah. Last
Let's not
last
fuck
spring.
that. Fuck that. I'm talking about when you were in Valpo and you had pictures with who was it back then?
Everybody.
Kurt Angle,
Kurt Angle,
Chris
John
Benoit.
Cena,
Chris Benoit, right before what? How long was that before
Brock
he
Lesnar
murdered
was
his
there.
family?
Well, hell, that would probably been about 4 years before that.
Was it 4 years before? I thought it.
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
my bad.
no. Actually, no.
No.
I'm wrong.
I think it was
like,
maybe
like 4 months before, because I had a picture of him carrying in some kind of like creatine or whatever, and at the time they were saying, it was
creatine's
it
the
was
fucking
steroids
stuff
that
to
made him
murder
do it.
your
Yeah,
family.
Yeah, and I was like, well, actually, I have a photo of him carrying in creatine, not steroids, but yeah. So actually,
Rob
that was
Van
a few
Dam?
months before. Rob Van Dam.
Eddie Guerrero too. I thought.
Yeah, he was there with Chavo.
Yeah,
I have a
Rey
picture.
Mysterio?
Yeah.
John Cena.
Yeah, that was back when wrestling was
Like guys like that, you could see them at Valpo University. I remember, and you showed me pictures. Booker T, Sergeant Slaughter, Trish Stratus,
Molly Holly.
yeah.
Hell, I met John Cena in Valpo twice.
Yeah.
One time I forgot I met him because he wasn't big then.
Well, you couldn't see him.
Waka waka waka. But Valparaiso, that was a great area to go see shows.
Hammond, I've been to a couple Hammond things. I saw the last year of WWE's god awful ECW in 2010 when they quit doing that. They did a final
revival,
tour. And I took Anders. He was my son. He was, what was he, like 5 years old, something like that, maybe even younger than that, like 3 at the time. We went and checked that out at the Hammond Civic Center. It was all right. Like Kane, I think. I don't know if Jericho was there or not. I don't think so, because it was ECW SmackDown split pay-per-view, It was right before they finally killed that god-awful fucking incarnation of ECW off. But then after that, I had seen, I went with Eddie, Big Ed the Assassin, went to see TNA. And actually, I see a lot. There was Jeff Hardy versus the Pope, D'Angelo Williams. Who'd you have? AJ Styles versus Christopher Daniels, and dude, I think it was $20, and you could have fucking got right in the ring.
Yeah, that's how it was. And
the thing was, it was sad because at that time they had so much good talent, but the promotion was just handling their shit wrong, and like so their live events, no one was there, and like I literally paid for these tickets. It wasn't that much. I don't remember how much it was. But I remember sitting up in the seats, and there's not really a bad seat at the Hammond Civic Center,
Small. Yeah.
But the whole point of my story is, like, you got to do your walk past, and you see, like, the beautiful people, Velvet Sky shit, walking right past you,
I got to meet all
I saw Austin Aries, Bobby Roode, Christopher Daniels, like I said, AJ Styles. I met Earl Hebner that night, Mr.
I met
Anderson.
Earl, too, yeah.
Jeff Hardy was there, and that was right after he came back from his shit where he's with Sting, that match in TNA where he was all drugged out.
Yeah, I met Hardy at the Civic Center when he was with TNA. It was a triple threat match.
Yeah.
AJ Styles, Rob Van Dam, and Jeff Hardy. I was with Travis.
With Child.
Yeah, and he had found one of the tickets that Don West had hidden, so we got to move up to front seat.
Oh, I remember Travis the Juggalo.
Yeah, I gave him 4 TNA figures to take me there, which I already had the ticket. I just needed a ride, and he took the 4 figures for a ride. But anyways, so we were in the front row, and Jeff Hardy got knocked out of the ring right in front of me. And so, like, it's not televised. So I'm like, hey, Jeff, can I take a picture with you? And he, like, stands up and takes the picture with me and then gets back in the ring and, finishes the match with AJ and Rob Van Dam, which I thought was really cool because
the whole fucking show.
Right after the match, they were charging $20 to get in the ring and take a picture with Jeff Hardy. Well,
it's cheap.
Jeff
Hardy is a fucking Hall of Famer. I don't care. He just got arrested.
His personal troubles are going to keep him out.
Yeah, I don't care about that. That sucks for him. But
yeah, but WWE does because they still, how many wrestlers have they still not put in that should be in there?
Well, who cares?
I mean, is Owen Hart even in yet?
What? Oh, you're talking about Hall of Fame shit?
Yeah, you just said he's a Hall of Famer.
Well, I'm saying he's gonna be. I mean, he's a legend.
So maybe for
That's
TNA
what I mean.
then.
Like, no, Jeff Hardy's a guy that Shred, you know who Jeff Hardy is, don't you? The Hardy Boys.
Last WrestleMania, the Hardy Boys made a comeback. Was
Yes.
that
Yeah.
their first appearance in years?
in like almost 10 years. Yeah.
Really, almost 10 years?
The last time, well,
Jeff
2008.
bounced back and forth.
Yeah, but I remember I was in DeKalb. It was 2008 SmackDown. They had a feud going with Jeff Hardy and CM Punk, And at the time, Jeff Hardy had some legal shit going on because he got busted with drugs and
like shit ton of drugs
and like dealing all kinds of charges. And he couldn't even leave like the country type of shit. And WWE was like done with him because
he had like
they've had so many
steroids,
charges.
like 300 Vicodin pills, like all kinds
whatever
of shit.
have you. But he fought
flashback.
CM Punk in 2008, and that was the last match he had. And they made it like a loser leaves the company angle. He left, and then like not even a couple weeks later, he shows up on TNA TV. That wasn't 2008. It was 2010. I'm sorry.
How dare you?
Yeah, I can't fucking remember. He shows up in TNA TV. He was with TNA from then till last year when everything went south and all the broken Matt Hardy and everybody knows that debacle. We're not even going to get into that. That's the thing with wrestling is you start talking about one thing and it's going to lead into a longer version of something else that, you know.
Well, speaking of Jeff Hardy's personal problems, 2 days ago, he just got arrested again.
Yeah.
For a DWI.
Yep.
So when
hey, hold up. You dumbass.
So when you guys talk about this stuff, when wrestling fans talk about wrestling stuff, do you guys mix reality with storylines? So when you talk about like Jeff Hardy's real shit,
that's how it is. That's the
question.
connection with fans and wrestling, and that's why wrestling really is so cool. Because you do, and it's creepy in a way because it's like we're sitting here talking about these motherfuckers' personal lives, you know. But at the same time, that's what they do and what they're exposed to, and especially nowadays, everything is so behind the curtain in wrestling that they want they advertise you knowing their fucking lives and that stuff like that. Which back in the day, fans always did anyway, because it's like the fucking Beatles coming back in the day, you know, like they were such big fans. Everybody knew what John, Paul, George, and Ringo were doing, just like they know what fucking The Rock and Stone Cold and Hogan and what the guys are doing now, you know. It's everybody wants to be in on that because they're so involved.
Well, because you can't really keep kayfabe around nowadays with social media.
Well,
you know, anything somebody does in public, like somebody's taking a picture or
those of you
video.
that know kayfabe, you know, back in the day, I mean, everybody knows wrestling's fixed, and that's for another podcast. That's another subject I want to talk about. But you know, everybody knows it's fixed, and it's accepted now. So when they can do everything's expected and accepted. So when they can do the little things like last year Wrestlemania, they hid the Hardys. No one knew about them. Like 2 people in the company. And social media, the internet has ruined wrestling in a way, and it has also made it something it could have never been. Because it's a great help for independent workers. It gets all these guys exposures. Look at half the guys on WWE's roster now in NXT have built themselves up from the independent circuit and social media. Which, hey, Green Door Network, you know, Juice Pro Wrestling Podcast, motherfuckers. They built themselves up, and damn it, I forgot where I was going with that.
You were talking about the kayfabe.
Oh, the kayfabe, yeah. That people don't, you know, they know it's fucking fixed, and I'm not gonna go there and say wrestling's fake because you know I've never taken a fucking
it's
bump
only
in the ring.
predetermined.
But I've taken bumps in life and doing, you know, in my band, doing stupid shit and damaging my body really bad, doing physical stupid shit. And that injuries happen. They happen a lot in wrestling. Like that shit, it's real. Is it predetermined? Yes. Are some of the moves based to where you don't necessarily hurt the person? Yes. But I do remember a time where Owen Hart fucking pile drove Stone Cold and broke his neck. Yeah. And the motherfucker still finished the match. Oh, hell yeah.
Or when D'Lo Brown was given Draws, the running power bomb, tripped, dropped him on his neck, and paralyzed him.
Yeah.
You know, like the
Real
shit's
shit
dangerous.
happens. Yeah. You know, I mean, it's all for show.
It's a true
circus,
art,
dude.
because you have to trust the other person with your body. Where with any other sport, you know the other person's just trying to hurt you. But in wrestling, it's both ways. You have to work together.
Yeah.
It's not one person versus the other. You have to work together.
So I've heard the term kayfabe a bunch of times, and nobody's ever properly explained it. Is it the art of the surprise? Is it the art of everybody accepting
listen,
the
It's more of an ethic.
Well, kayfabe back in the day, right? All the wrestlers, the old school mentality was they fought to protect, like back when I was a little kid, and right before that, there was a small, tiny percent of people that were like, "Oh, this shit's fucking fake or fixed," you know. And kayfabe was protecting that, staying in character. Kayfabe was back in the day, in the old territory days, the villains, if they were not caught dead with the fucking, like, say me and you are friends, but we're wrestlers, you're a bad guy, I'm a fucking good guy, a babyface. We weren't caught dead at a Denny's together, because then that's just like, oh, well, people knew the jig was up, you know, and that's what kayfabe is. It's basically staying in character and, you know,
deny till you die.
Yeah, exactly. To protect the industry, which is so exposed now, but it's not even about that now. Like, it's cool when guys can still do that. Like Sami Callihan's doing with Impact Wrestling right now, and if you guys don't know, check it out. Him and Eddie Edwards have been tearing it up. It was a horrible accident that turned into a great angle that they're both going to capitalize on. And you have idiots like Jim Cornette, which he's not an idiot. I love the guy. There you go, Jimmy. But people are hating on him, and it's you don't know whether it's a shoot, you don't know whether it's fake, you know, and that's shit like that is what excites me about pro wrestling, you know, and that's what gets people talking and filling fucking bank accounts.
Another way to explain the severity of kayfabe back in the golden age, when Andre was still around, they say there was one man that Andre the Giant feared, and that was a wrestler by the name of Haku, a.k.a. Ming, and he feared Ming because Ming was just a loose cannon. He once bit a guy's nose off for saying that wrestling was fake. So Andre, you know, who's, you know, advertised at like 8 feet, 500 some pounds. In actuality, he was like 7'4", still huge. But you know, this giant is afraid of this little Samoan guy because this dude was living kayfabe. You know, he bit off a guy's nose for saying wrestling was fake. So
I had what's the actor? He used to be on Mad TV. He does Will Sasso. He does 10-minute podcasts and a bunch of stuff. He actually does a whole version of like a wrestling podcast too.
Really?
He's a huge wrestling fan.
Well, I know back in the day they had Bret the Hart on Mad TV and everything. So yeah,
I think he was on a couple things, but he used to he would make fun of this guy that was on public access TV, and he would use that phrase constantly. And then when he was out of character, he tried to explain it, and I listened to him because I think he's super talented and funny and loves wrestling. And I would listen to him, and he does a wicked Schwarzenegger
and a wicked Kenny Rogers.
His Hulk Hogan is...
Who told you can eat my cookies?
Yeah, and but his Kenny Hogan Rogers is awesome.
Really?
He gets on a roll with Hogan, and then his shtick is that he sounds like Hogan, but then he doesn't let anybody get a word in. He'll ask you a question, and he'll keep talking. And so for as long as he's in Hogan voice, he just talks.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty great. But then thank God.
Well, you know Mean Gene.
I'll get all those out. I'm working on all of them.
Get it out of your system. We're gonna have a good time with this, and you know that's what it's all about. That's what wrestling's all about. It's like, you know, just forgetting what the fuck is going on in life. Reality. Yeah, and just like it's a story, you know, and it involves violence and sometimes a lot of silliness and a lot of sexual things.
But I didn't know until I watched the Jake the Snake documentary that what's his face Scott Hall and DDP were actually really good friends.
Yes,
but you'd never know because they were always on opposite sides of those
like I said,
lines.
Even back in the day, that's when the curtain was really kind of a little bit starting to be pulled back. Like for instance, the whole NWO thing. Watching that unfold live as a kid when Scott Hall first showed up in WCW, I was like, holy fuck. Like, that's Razor Ramon. Like,
right.
There's no way he's like I just seen him on Raw or whatever last week. Like, that's, you know, when it started, it's like, dude, this could be real shit. And that's the magic of pro wrestling. That's the scenario they created that got you to believe. And that's everything that wrestlers do. And you guys out there that are wrestlers know it's all about making motherfuckers believe, because believing makes dollars, you know. And
well, then you got Medusa, who went on Nitro and threw the women's championship in the belt.
No one believed that those were real tits, Medusa. I'm sorry, no one believed it.
Hey, she's still pretty hot for like 60 years old.
Yeah, 60 sticking in me.
That was weird.
Sren, come on now.
Okay, so who is your favorite wrestler that you've met, Mr. El Hugo?
I haven't met it as much as you, because you know what they say about meeting your heroes.
You could have met Hogan.
It's really expensive.
You declined it.
I don't know.
You hear that, Hulk? El Hugo didn't want to meet you.
No, not the case.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the case.
I don't know. Maybe Sabu, because he was so open to just partying with me.
He's like, hey, you got any needles?
And I couldn't. Well, no, fuck that. But like, man, if I would have had a Duber on me or something, it's like, yeah, let's hang out,
Well, you did, and then he took it and didn't include
Well,
you.
no, I didn't give him a Duber. I gave him an edible, That's where we're at as a society.
Yeah. I'd say I've never been a fan of the wrestler John Cena, but as far as all the wrestlers I've met, I'd have to say John Cena is probably the coolest because it was a cold, rainy day. I'm guessing in the spring in Valparaiso.
And John Cena was wearing jorts.
Probably.
Why not?
But all the wrestlers were coming out and just like ignoring the fans. Basically, they just wanted to get to their cars and go to the next show.
Get the fuck out!
So John Cena comes out and he tells everybody like, "Hey, I'm going to put my stuff in my car and then I'll come back." And everybody's like, "Yeah, that's what every wrestler that's come out so far has said." He put his shit in his trunk, came back, and probably for an hour and a half stood in the cold rain and signed everybody's, whatever, and took
He was
pictures.
that young go-hard. He was trying to get that fandom so he can be a 16-time world champion.
He was already past the rapper phase, and he was doing.
He was Marky Mark, dude. That's why I hated him so much. I'm like, okay, the next superstar they're gonna push is fucking Marky Mark. It was his character, dude. He was a white rapper that's fucking, he's in shape.
But he doesn't have 3 nipples.
You know what? They edit that other nipple out. I think from what I hear. Are you aware of that, Srudden?
Marky Mark has 3 nipples.
That's what I hear.
What?
It's like a third eye, but
I'll never watch any of his
like
movies again.
Right below, his.
I don't care
I
about
wouldn't
how
lick
many
it.
nipples
That's
Marky
disgusting.
Mark has.
How dare you suggest?
What does Sabu say about Marky Mark? Who's the other
He's
one?
going to ask Marky Mark if he has any drugs.
What does Virgil say about Marky Mark's nipples?
I don't know about Sabu says. This is what Sabu says. Want to get high?
Yeah, that's pretty much.
If Sabu was in South Park, he'd be Towie.
This is the truth.
I need drugs.
Who have you not met that you would like to meet?
Me? The Juice himself? Hulk Hogan.
No, don't even give me that because I paid for this meet and greet. Okay, it was a photo with Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan. I hit him up and said, "Hey, I already paid for this. There's like 4 people per photo. Do you want to come?" Oh no. I'm like, dude, I already paid for it. Like, come on, $150 for this photo. No. So I hit up my brother, and my brother's like, "Hell yeah, it's Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan, like the 2 biggest names in wrestling of all time." And so don't give me that. Oh, the one person I want to meet is Hulk Hogan. When you had the chance for free to meet him.
Well, it is, and I was I was with my band and I was hungover, and that
was probably just you were just hungover.
The alcohol is bleeding me dry. But I don't know. Like the one wrestler that I would like to talk to. I mean, there's a lot. I really couldn't narrow it down to one. I mean, Hogan I think would be cool, but like I said, and that's a real thing. Like what they say about meeting your heroes, like. I wouldn't want it to be a genuine. I would like it to be a genuine encounter, not just like, oh hey bro, Well,
when I met your hero, I had my son, and he was about a year old. Was still on the bottle.
Sren's grabbing the nuts.
So we go to take the picture, and Hogan grabs my son, and he's holding him.
Where did he grab him?
Anyways, so he's holding my son, and he's like, "You need to get him off the bottle. It filled with vodka and give it to me." I'm like, you
Hogan's
drunk old man, yeah. And then like in the picture, like you just got Ric Flair like
for life. Ric Flair's like, yes.
No, he's just like photo bombing like some grandpa just walked into the back of the picture, like. But it was cool. But yeah, Hogan was like, "No, you get your son off the bottle filled with vodka."
You know who I'd really like to meet, and you've met him, is Rob Van Dam.
Very cool guy.
I've been a very huge fan of him, and he's a marijuana advocate, and
him and Sabu.
Yeah,
they were both on the cover of 420 or High Times. Yeah, High Times.
Back in the day, and that's that kind of fucked them in their WWE shit.
Yeah.
But anyways, because he just he's a laid back dude, but I honestly think that he is a huge fucking reason. Him and Rey Mysterio, and maybe we'll put a little bit of Jericho. I know Jericho's a big superstar, but this new crop of indie talent and all these guys that are really super athletic had to have taken that influence from guys like RVD and Rey Mysterio, because you never seen that shit before. When you saw Rob Van Dam in ECW doing that shit he was doing, and he looked like fucking Jean-Claude Van Damme, and fuck yeah, you know.
Well, you got to include Eddie Guerrero in that too, then.
Well, Eddie Guerrero too, yeah, for sure. But still, and well, Eddie's whole fucking family, you know. I mean, the Gringo Killer Homicides move, you know, the Gory Buster. That's his dad invented that fucking move. And what was it? I think the Camel Clutch too. Someone told me the Camel Clutch was invented by who's Eddie Guerrero's dad? Is it Gory?
Gory.
Yeah, Gory Guerrero, I believe.
Which is the best.
I could
name
be wrong.
ever.
Like I said, you guys can fact check me because Sren's too cheap to get Wi-Fi for that ass. But
you mean the Camel Clutch wasn't invented by the Iron Sheik?
no,
Iron
but
Sheik.
it sounds great.
Happy birthday
right?
to the Iron Sheik today.
Yeah, today
you are
is Iron Sheik's
72.
birthday. He'll fuck your ass and make you humble.
76. One of the two.
In the
You're
Camel
old as
Clutch.
fuck.
Iron Sheik, you don't even know it, but you love JP.
I'm gonna do in the future. I'm gonna do all my Iron Sheik impressions from off mic.
From over here,
We love it. We love it.
I'll work
And
on it.
today, the Iron Sheik turned 76.
76.
March
Happy
15th.
birthday.
That's awesome.
March 15th. Iron Sheik.
Crazy old fuck. I met him once at the Donald
my
E. Stevens
favorite
Convention
customer.
Center in Rosemont, Illinois. And
Chicago Bears, number one.
I'm just walking around, meeting different people, and I keep hearing the Chicago Bears and the Iron Sheik is here. And I turn the corner, and there's the Iron Sheik sitting with the WCW World Title, which he was never the champion of WCW. So why he had their belt, I don't know. But I took a picture with him, and
It looked
that was pretty
good.
cool. He autographed an action figure. And told me that the Chicago Bears and the Iron Sheik were here. He just kept saying it. So, yeah, we got that.
Where's Max Singletary?
Yeah. And Al Snow's my real dad.
Yeah, Butchman
So if you're
Lee, his
listening,
father.
Dad, I
Al
finally
Snow.
made it.
Yeah, your son is made in the world of professional wrestling podcasting, the
Hmm.
oversaturated market of.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Dad.
Yeah, Dan.
But next time you come to Portage, Indiana, to the Texas Roadhouse, I'd be glad to take my eighth
buy
photo
you a
with
shot.
you. Yeah, just like I did Abyss that one time in the parking lot.
Yeah, Chris Parks. Where you at?
Yeah, you
Abyss.
said that there were too many wrestling podcasts. Well, guess what?
This is the only wrestling podcast, motherfuckers.
Juice Pro Wrestling.
Juice Pro Wrestling, NWI.
Choose Pro Wrestling.
Nobody knows. Choose Pro Wrestling. Wet 'em up. Wet 'em up. Wet 'em up. Wet 'em up.